What?
There's nothing behind us. It looks like a interrogation room.
Where is she?
Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
Board games.
and
Bleeding lips.
yeah, Jeff's lips, they do be cracked. It's very dry because it's the winter time.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We are here today to do our most anticipated video, one of our most anticipated videos of the year. Every time I do this, Jeff gets confused. He's like, that's not what we're doing. I'm saying we anticipate doing this video. They anticipate us doing this video. And that is our top 10 board games of 2024. This is going to be a two-part style video. The first part being our top 10 released in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
The second being our top 10 new to us games of 2024, okay? So today's video is going to be the ones that were released in 2024. Now, there's a few caveats-ish.
Hit me with them.
So we did not include prototypes. So if we've played a prototype, even if that prototype was amazing, it's not making the list. Unless maybe we played the prototype, but then the game itself released
I don't have any of
in
those.
the year. All right. That's fine then. That's kind of, I think, the only caveat. And then, of course, this is all according to BGG. Does BGG say the game was released in 2024?
One of mine isn't, but I know it was released in 2024.
That sounds like a scandal to me.
I think it was supposed to be released 2 years earlier.
Right.
But it just came out this year.
Okay.
And they just didn't update the BGG.
I understand. So we each have come prepared with a couple honorable mentions.
I only have one now because I screwed up.
Okay.
One of mine was not a 2024 release.
Got it. I did all of them. So Jeff didn't. He just kind of made a list. So for our friends over at Patreon, I will release my next 10 releases. Okay. So like I'll do 10 to 20 on Patreon. This guy, he won't do it.
I'm efficient. I don't mess around.
So my one honorable mention, number 11, just missed the list, is Maple Valley from Kids Table Board Gaming, which is a game that I really enjoyed. And not only did I enjoy it playing multiplayer, I've also played it solo. So we played it at 2, we played it at, did you play with me and Nick? I don't think you did.
No.
Me and Nick played on our own. So I've only played it at 2 and then solo, but I really enjoy it. It's a very cute game set in like the Creature Comforts world. And it's just like cozy vibes, right? You're getting ready for festivals. I love it. Festivals in Maple Valley. So cute. But that was my number 11. It just missed my list.
My honorable mention is a salt and pepper game.
So salt and pepper's here.
And it is called Operation Barclay. Operation Barclay is a 2-player only hidden information game where you are playing as the Axis and Allies.
It was on my short 20.
In Operation Barclay, there is a hidden information element as well as kind of like a trick-taking poker themed. But Operation Barclay is one that, I mean, it checks a lot of boxes for me. It's war themed. It has some asymmetry in it, and it's 2-player, kind of dueling. I feel like this one kind of came and went.
No, it launched on Kickstarter and fulfilled this year.
No, but I what I mean by that is I don't hear people talking about it.
That's true. We're the only ones I hear talking about it.
Really, it deserves a little bit more hype.
More love.
More love. It's one I very much want to play again.
Good job, Jeff. Let's get into the top 10. Now, my number 10 is most definitely going to be higher on Jeff's list. There's no way that it's not. And that is Arcs from Leader Games.
Maybe.
So Arcs is a kind of like, it is a war style game, but it's like not like based on a historical war. It's space wars.
Space opera.
But yeah, it's a space opera is essentially what it is. And it is just, I found such a unique game where you don't need to fight each other to win. Like you're kind of trying to control different areas, and it also has like a trick-taking element in it a little bit. Not really, but like kind of like a card style element with the cards that you're pulling and playing.
I mean, yes.
I really enjoyed it. I love Root, not as much as Jeff, but I really enjoy Root, but I can't see us getting Root to the table very often because it doesn't play great at 2 players, whereas Arcs, I thought played really well at 2 players, and I really loved it because there's so many different strategies that you can do in this game. You can like be really sneaky and then you can, like I did, and then you could suddenly be like, pow, I'm here, and I've ended the game. But Arcs is my number 10. I really liked it.
My number 10 is a game from one of our faves.
Yeah.
Mr. Friedman Freeze.
Yeah.
It is a trick-taking game, and it is, I think, just now starting to get a lot of people talking about it. But anyway, that is Fishin', or Fishing, if you're looking at the English version. Fishing is a trick-taking game where, again, they've figured out a way to make it different. I mean,
how they keep doing it.
There's probably other trick-taking games that borrow from this or do this that I haven't played, so take that for what it is. But in Fishing, it is a straightforward trick-taking game where your cards are going to be points. So you want to win tricks. There are cards that will do different things and bonus abilities and that sort of thing. But the thing to consider in this game that's unique and interesting, to me anyway, is each round you're going to draw up to a hand limit. And for each card that you're short to draw into your hand, you're going to draw from the ocean stack.
Mm-hmm.
And that stack of cards has more, as you go down that ocean stack, you're basically fishing in the ocean. And those cards are going to get better and better and better. So you actually don't want to be able to draw up to your hand limit because you want to be able to draw from the ocean stack. But then you also, once you have those cards in your hand, you don't want to lose them by losing tricks. So it's this really intricate balance between being able to draw from the ocean stack and improving your overall hand, but also winning tricks, but not enough tricks that you can still draw from the ocean stack.
Yeah, it's a balance that's like impossible.
Really interesting balance, and it's very, very enjoyable. I'm really excited to get a copy of this. It's definitely one I would probably bring to conventions.
My number 9, and one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, because I know some people are going to be curious, but we played about 85-ish. Jeff has played some more than me. I have played some different ones, but around like 85 2024 releases. So that's kind of the list that we were working with.
There's one or two, I think, on my list that you have not even played.
Yeah, so that's...
no, there's one.
There's a bunch on mine that you haven't played, including my number 9, which is Civolution. Mm-hmm. So Civolution just came out very recently. I got to play it at BGGCon, and this is a civilization game from Stefan Feld. Mm-hmm. And it has a lot of elements of Stefan Feld games that you may be familiar with in terms of like using dice, manipulating dice to do actions and that kind of thing. So one thing I've learned about myself, and the realization hit me at GaggleCon recently after playing Nova Era, is I freaking love civilization theme games, civilization games, and it's not a theme that you would think would be something that I'd be into.
I would love for you to try and play Civilization, but I would need to play it with you.
Yeah, so you tell me what to do.
But it is basically a board game in video game format.
In Civilization, or Civolution, sorry, it's basically an engine building style game, but it has so many different elements. Like this game will take up your entire table. What I really enjoyed about it is how the action selection mechanism works, because basically you roll all of your dice. Each action requires 2 specific numbers. There's different ways to mitigate those numbers and to change them up, but like if you want to do this action, you need a 2 and a 5. So like you can plan out your entire turn, because you get to take your turn, somebody else goes. So you can plan out your entire round basically with all of the dice that you have. So that's something I really enjoyed about it. But the other thing that I liked is how the timer mechanic works, which is once you run out of things to do and you can't use any more of your dice, you're going to move the timer up. And every time somebody else has to do that, the timer is also going to move until you hit kind of like a peak moment where it's going to trigger the next era, basically. And then you have to go through, like, it's very methodical, like everything, almost like in Dominant Species, how it's like everything has its steps. I really enjoy games where everything is kind of laid out for you like that.
Yeah.
It also has like tracks that you're bumping. It also has areas that you're trying to control. It also has like exploration because you're flipping tiles over that could be good or could be bad and you don't know. And then you're building out a bit of an engine and tableau onto your own civilization by collecting different technologies and cards and stuff like that. You would love it. I really want to get...
it would probably be on my list if I'd played it.
100%. I really want to get a copy of this so that I can show it to Jeff and show it to more people because... and you can play it solo. Nick from Brothers Murph, shout out to them, has been playing it solo a ton and has been really enjoying it. So yeah, I love this game and I can't wait to play it more.
My number 9 is a very, very recent release, and it is a standalone follow-up to an original game, and that is Queen by Midnight Quarter Past.
Wow, where did that land on my list? 35.
Queen by Midnight is a standalone expansion to Queen by Midnight, a game which we haven't played, so I don't have
it's a minimum of 3 players.
I don't have full context, but it allows you to play
at 2.
But it's a different game. I think you can add it in.
You can incorporate it.
You can play it on its own. We've only played it on its own, so I'm speaking just of this standing on its own merits.
Correct.
Queen by Midnight is a battle royale themed game where you are all playing as a princess and trying to become the new queen within a 24-hour period.
By midnight.
So this game is played via rounds, which effectively are representative of this clock ticking down until midnight. We play this in 2-player, which very much comes down to a dueling-esque game where you are effectively trying to do some deck building elements and trying to balance clout with money and being able to enhance your deck by buying new cards, but there's some asymmetry in this game, so each princess is able to do certain things. They have their own special ultimate ability, which they can trigger at certain points in the game. You are each more adequate in different aspects of
you have strengths.
Magic and that sort of thing, so you can only play those types of cards that your princess is adept at. It was very enjoyable, and I love the production. Again, I can't speak to the original game, but I very, very much liked this game. I very much like dueling games in general, so it's not overly surprising that I love this one so much.
So we are on number 8, and my number 8, I don't know where it's going to fall on Jeff's list, but I think it will be there somewhere, but that is Ironwood, and this is from Mind Clash Games. Ironwood is a 2-player game where each player it's asymmetrical. Each player is playing as a different kind of faction or clan. One as woods folk and the other as iron folk. And you each have different kinds of goals. So basically what you're trying to do is complete your faction's goals by trying to stop the other faction from completing theirs. You're going to be doing fights, you're doing a bit of area control, you have your own deck of cards that are going to be kind of influencing what you're doing. And it is very much so a head-to-head heavy strategy style of game. But I just thought the production of this was beautiful. The gameplay was super fun. It was really crunchy. And it was mean in a good way because I love games when they're the whole purpose is I'm trying to stop you from doing what you're trying to do at all costs while still trying to fulfill your goals, which I just think it's a really cool balance, and I really enjoyed it.
My number 8, probably shouldn't be any surprise, is from GMT Games. It is a 2-player only coin game. I think it's 2-player only. I don't think you play solo.
No.
It's a 2-player only coin game called A Jest of Robin Hood. Jest of Robin Hood is a irregular series conflict game. I think the second in the irregular conflict series from GMT. It takes elements of coin and introduces it into this irregular series. What I like most about Jest of Robin Hood is it introduces people to a system that I very much care about. And in a theme that I think is more approachable. than a lot of the other GMT coin games. Jester of Robin Hood effectively is a tug-of-war type game where you are Robin Hood and his merry men versus the Sheriff of Nottingham and his henchmen and lust for money. So effectively in this game, you're going to be taking actions and doing things in order to win over the populace by either beating them down into submission or by rising them up for revolt, depending on which faction you are playing. And you're doing this through a series of actions. It's actually very straightforward and very simplistic. I don't think I'm overly good at this game, but I do appreciate the accessibility of this game to get people into the bigger coin war game genre of games.
And it's on BGA. My number 7, I am making another assumption, is also going to be on Jeff's list. I don't know where, but it is Undaunted.
We have a
I was wondering. A true
crossover. My number 7 is also Undaunted 2200
Callisto. All right, so
I'll just let you go off and I'll chime in.
So this is the latest iteration of the Undaunted series, but it is set in space. So this is the first one that is not based off of a true war that has occurred.
Sure. Yep.
Right? So this is a sci-fi version of Undaunted, basically. We love Undaunted. The Undaunted system is great, and what Callisto or 2200 has added is some new mechanics that aren't necessarily in some of the other Undaunteds, which includes levels, like mechs, different types of things. You're like fighting in space, fighting on spaceships. There's different like movement abilities and all of that stuff. Like Jeff can fill in a little bit more, but I think that there was no way that this couldn't be on our list because we love Undaunted. We love the system. We have played, the only one that we haven't tried yet is North Africa. We did just get a copy of that this year, so I'm assuming we'll play that, dive into that next year. But I love Undaunted. I love everything about it. Jeff?
Yeah, so similar to what Jamie's saying, Undaunted is a system of mechanisms, I guess, Undaunted mechanisms are a gameplay system that we very much enjoy. It's a deck builder. The other thing in this game is your mechs actually have their own cards to utilize. So you have to have certain soldiers out that can control the mechs. And if those aren't out, then your mechs aren't going to do anything. Undaunted Callisto just, I think, makes it, again, more accessible because some people don't like the war theme.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm excited for more people to play this game, uncover what that system looks like and how simple it is, and honestly how smooth it is. And then maybe that diverts them off to playing some of these other war-themed versions of Undaunted. But I think anytime an Undaunted game comes out, it's probably going to land somewhere in this realm.
Here's what I'm waiting for. David Thompson, Trevor Benjamin, hear me out. Undaunted forest creatures.
Yeah. I think that'd be really cool.
Can we please make this happen? Because
there's so many things they could do.
If there ends up being a cute version of Undaunted, forget about it.
Yeah,
I'm in.
I'm
Take my money.
I mean,
all of it.
That's what I mean, though. I feel like the system's so good.
The system's so good.
So smooth. You can apply it
into like a medieval
stuff.
World, Arthurian.
Yeah.
But my number 6 is Harvest. From Keymaster Games. Harvest is a game that we didn't get until Gen Con of this year. We had been hearing really good things about it and finally tried it. And this is essentially a worker placement game in a very cute, like, farm town with fun farm animals. Everybody gets to be their own character, and you are basically like building out your own little farmland in front of you while going around and doing a bunch of actions on the board. I have played this multiplayer. I have played this solo. I have played it a bunch on BGA. I just really enjoy it. I love the theme. It's really simple to get to the table, but like there's enough game there for me to like keep wanting to come back to it because you can try different strategies, all that good stuff. But Harvest did it for me. I really enjoy. I really want the playmat. Big time.
I also very much enjoy Harvest. It's not on my list, but I can see why people love it.
I think one thing that I like about it is it always feels, or it often feels like you you can't do everything
Yeah.
that you want. And I really like games like that where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like I don't have enough freaking water in my bucket to do the crops. And so then I don't have enough poo. I need more manure.
My number 6 is from one of my favorite publishers. I don't know. I think it's one of Jamie's as well. And that is Capstone Games.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Pagan, Fate of Roanoke. I'm assuming this is on your list?
It isn't.
Wow, okay.
Is it on my short? How did it not? It's not even on my short 20. Where is it? Uh-oh.
You probably didn't rate it. There's no way it's that far down. If it's that far down, we have to have a discussion.
I don't think it came out in 2024.
Well, it's 2022, but it came out in 2024.
Oh.
That's the one.
That's why.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, this game is probably going to appear on my next list for non-2024 releases, but Jeff took it as a 2024 release, so that's...
I think this was a North America release in 2024, so I'm counting it.
I'm more European than Jeff.
Jamie's more European than me, apparently. Pagan, Fate of Roanoke is a deduction game, a 2-player deduction game where one person is playing as a witch hunter and one person is playing as a witch. And ultimately, both of those people are trying to achieve their own objective. The witch is trying to delay things long enough to collect ingredients in order to produce a potion that is basically going to trick everyone into leaving her alone effectively so she can survive. The witch hunter is trying to deduce from 9 villagers which one is the witch, and trying to get people on their side to effectively deduce who the witch is. And you're doing that through a unique system of like action selection with your meeples and card play, and it is incredibly tense and incredibly difficult to navigate each, because as things occur, you are undoing the things your opponent is doing, and it can set you back, and then you're trying to re-engage. It's a very, 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 very good 2-player game, and a very, very good 2-player deduction game, which I think is really unique. I don't think there's a lot of 2-player deduction games that resonate as well as this one does.
Yeah, because it's not just deduction; it's also like a high strategy, which
there's a ton of strategy and bluffing and all
asymmetry
and all of these other things that really are the things we love.
I interrupt this video for a message from today's sponsor, which is Stone Age Entertainment and their newest game called Pillage the Village. Pillage the Village is a fast-paced, chaotic tabletop game where you take on the role of a cunning dragon competing for treasure and supremacy, as dragons do. Each round, you'll make split-second decisions, raid villages for gold, steal from rival dragons, or protect your horde from other greedy claws. With no turns and simultaneous actions, the game delivers an intense free-for-all experience that's as strategic as it is fun. Whether you're looking for a quick, easy-to-learn game for family game night or the perfect warm-up before your next D&D session, Pillage the Village promises fiery competition and endless replayability. Who will claim the ultimate horde? Listen, I don't know about you, but I am personally a huge fan of dragons. In fact, I was born the year of the dragon. I think Jeff was born the year of the rat. Maybe it's rabbit, I don't remember. So if Pillage the Village sounds like something that you might be interested in because maybe you love simultaneous play, because you hate downtime, because dragons also hate downtime. This is why they don't wait in lines. They just blow fire at people and then they don't wait. This game design is fast and easy to learn. So once again, if it sounds like something that you might be interested in, I am going to have all of the information that you need down in the description below, along with links and everything. So if you are a dragon lover like me, check out Pillage the Village. Now let's get back into that top 10, shall we?
So the next one for me is actually an expansion. But that is Honey Buzz Fall Flavors.
Honey Buzz Fall Flavors is an incredible game.
It's an incredible
game. Honey Buzz is an incredible game.
Yes. I wrote down on my list Honey Biz, which is also kind of true because it's about business bees. So Honey Biz could have been the name. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Buzz Biz.
Buzz Biz. Honey Buzz Fall Flavors essentially adds like a bunch of new ways to play Honey Buzz. So they're modules. I think there are like either 5 or 6 of them. You can add one, you can add them all. You could do whatever you like, but it adds so many different things. Like there's now a section for bees that are retiring.
Yes.
Which is awesome. There's fruit that you can do instead of just nectar. So there's new animals that are coming to do some fruit orders. There's a bunch of different components, and I have played with all of the different modules in various different ways. This expansion or module pack or whatever you want to call it re-engaged my love for Honeybuzz.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't played it in so long that I'm like, man, I love Honeybuzz. Yeah. But this made it so much better, in my opinion. It just put like even more meat into the game.
Yeah.
And I've played it, like we've played it together. I've played it solo. And it plays really well solo, and I really enjoy it. So cute. The art is amazing. Amazing. And Honeybuzz, you're just a bunch of bees. You're like, I figured out how to make some money. Some biz, okay? And you're just selling it. All the animals want to make the orders for your honey, and it's great. And I love it.
My number 5 has already been mentioned on Jamie's list, so I'll speak to it quickly. And that is Ironwood from... Mind Clash games.
Yeah.
Everything Jamie said is true. The only thing I would add to this is why I like it so much is it invokes some of the familiar feelings of why I like Root. So in Root and in Ironwood, you can't get so far ahead because if you do, then your opponent, especially in Ironwood, is going to be like, oh, I need to start actively influencing their ability to score points. Because this is kind of like this type of abstract kind of strategy game, not abstract in the sense where you need to kind of set things up kind of like chess in order to then let the dominoes fall in order to win. Similarly in Root, if you get too far ahead, everyone's going to dogpile on you and you're going to lose. You need to systemically build up your engine without the other person noticing so that then you can just be like, okay, there they go. And then all the dominoes start falling and you're just scoring points and it's almost too late for the other person to come back from that. Ironwood felt very much like that. It's what I wanted Root at 2-player to feel like. And Root has attempted to make 2-player viable with the Marauders expansion and in Clockwork and that sort of thing. But this really felt like a 2-player asymmetrical type game that I wanted Root to be.
Right.
And it also plays solo, and I'm actually kind of interested to playing this solo.
Me too.
But anyway, that is Ironwood from Mind Clash games. One I think would probably increase this list the more I played it.
Okay, number 4, I assume didn't make Jeff's list, but this is a big one for me, and that's Draft and Write Records.
No.
I don't know what it is about this game, but we got it. I don't know if it's the color pencils. I don't know what it is. But this game is a flip and write game, and it's a drafting style game as well. But
it's in the name.
It's in the name, Draft and Write Records. So I have played it solo. In solo, there's no drafting, obviously, because you're by yourself. But anyways, essentially in this game, you are drafting out different cards to then fill in your sheet in front of you. You're looking for bandmates, crew members. You're going on tour. You're trying to create harmonies. You're doing... you're filling in different like bubbles of like different shapes, which are then going to give you combos of different things. It's your typical N-Write like combo city. But I don't know what it is about this one in particular that I just cannot stop playing it. I'm constantly playing this on BGA. I am not very good at it, but I think the beauty of this game is you can try so many different strategies. Like I, for a while, was like, okay, well, I'm trying the crew strategy and I'm going to get the best like band and crew ever. Never works out for me. Somebody else, Nick, he was like, I never go for crew. I go for everything else. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to do that. Still isn't working out for me, believe it or not. But this is definitely my favorite N-Write of the year. It is fantastic. I don't see myself stopping like playing this game anytime soon. I just think it's a blast in person. We played it at BGGCon, on BGA, solo, multiplayer. It's always a good time.
My number 4 is a game that just stumbled into my life, courtesy of my good friend Max over at Table Nuts. Go check them out if you have not already. And that is from Mob Plus, the creators of a game we talk about quite often, Nana. And that is Trick and Snipers. Trick and Snipers is a trick-taking game that is very simple at its core, but invokes some interesting decision-making spaces that I've not, again, felt in any other trick-taking game. Trick and Snipers is a trick-taking game that tricks don't effectively matter except for a tiebreaker. You're not going to get points for winning a trick. The only way you can get points in Trick and Snipers, and is a race to 2 points, first person to get to 2 points wins the game, is you either need to snipe a trick, and you snipe a trick by playing an offsuit card of the lead card of the winning suit that adds up to 13. So
Snipe 13.
So for example, if Jamie's winning with a 10 yellow, and I don't have a yellow, but I have a 3 blue, that adds up to 13. So if the 10 ends up being the highest card in the suit trick, and my 3 stays out, I will win the trick by sniping it because I add up to 13. The other way to score a point is to just straight up win a trick that has a 7 in it. That is the basic premise of the game. It is very, very fast and very, very enjoyable. I've introduced this game to so many people now. It is a great game to bring out at conventions. It is a great game to play with people that love trick-taking in your life because, again, there's not anything I've ever played like this.
No, and it's so quick.
Yes, it is. You can play this game in literally 10 minutes or less, especially when everyone figures out the rules.
Yeah.
I don't know how readily available this is. I don't think you can buy it in North America. This is an import game. But Trick and Snipers is one that I've had a blast teaching so many people and bringing it out at conventions. And again, thank you, Max, for introducing it to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't know it existed. But yeah, Trick and Snipers, Mob Plus.
So good. Super fun. Okay, my number 3, I feel like my top 3 are, everybody's going to be like, yes, this is very obvious. My number 3 is Harmonies.
Yep.
Harmonies, I think, took everybody by storm this year when it came out. Like, it came out, it got sold out. And this game is just, there's something about it that's both relaxing and stressful all at the same time. So basically, you are going to be taking tiles from a little market. There's 3 tiles on each thing, and then you're going to be placing them out onto your player board, building out different habitats. And you're trying to build out those habitats for 2 reasons. Number 1, to satisfy different animals' needs that you are going to be also taking into your tableau in front of you. And by completing an animal's habitat, you get to remove a cube, which is going to score you points. And some animals have like 2 cubes, some have 4, some have 3, whatever. And you're trying to complete as many animal cards as you can. And then the other thing is each of the habitat types will score at the end of the game based on how they're formatted. You want multiple fields, you want the longest river, you want mountains that are tall. That kind of thing.
Varying degrees of tree height.
Varying degrees of tree height. This game, I have played it solo. So I've played it solo. I've played it at 2 players. I've played it at like 5 players, 4 players. I play it on BGA constantly. I'm always in a game of this. It's just, there's something beautiful. It is beautiful, but there's something just like magical and comforting and cozy about this game. And I think this is going to be one that would stick into our collection for like ever.
Yeah. Harmonies is not on my list.
It's less of a Jeff game, more of a Jamie game.
I normally just move on to my next game, but I want to speak about Harmonies a bit because I think it deserves it. Of all the like nature themed games, and there was I think it's
There's always a lot.
I think it's slowed down now. But like there was a time where like there was a new nature game coming out like every other week, it felt like. I think Harmonies might be one of my favorites. I very much enjoy it. I am very, very bad at it.
Yeah.
But I think it nailed the simplicity of the puzzle. You know what? Some of these nature games are like Life of the Amazonia is phenomenal, but it's so much.
It's a lot, yeah.
Like to set up and play, and Harmonies just hits this like, God, you can play that game so fast, so fast. But yeah, I very much enjoy Harmonies. It's just not a theme that's ever, I think, gonna hit my top 10.
Yeah.
It's just not a game for me, but I very much appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
My number 3, I'm assuming, is Jamie's number 1. And that is from R2I Games. And that is Fromage. Fromage is a rondel strategy farming economic game where you are making cheese. You're a cheesemaker. You have 3 different types of base cheese you can make. It's white, cheddar, and blue cheese. And all of those cheeses can evolve into like a very specific type of cheese based off of order cards that you have. But ultimately what you're doing is each section of the board, there's 4 sections on this rondel board.
This is your number 3?
Yeah. Is going to score differently. So like one of the regions is like a area adjacency type scoring. One is a multiplication scoring, so depending on how many cheeses you have on each shelf. Another one is an area control piece, and the 4th one is like a serving area. So depending on how many tables you serve and how many pieces of cheese you have in the entire region, you're going to score more points. There's so much nuance to this game. There's resources you can collect. It really comes down to an efficiency puzzle, and it's one I have not figured out yet because this is a game definitely where you can't do everything, and I have a very hard time not placing cheese.
Yeah.
So, for example, I think in this game you probably want to focus on like 2, maybe 3 regions and ignore 1.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem where every time it comes down, I'm like, no, I got to place the cheese. It's so good. It is incredible. This is another one that plays so quickly, and it's a game that I feel like you will teach someone, they'll be like, let's go again. Because the first game is really like, what was that?
It's a lot going on.
That was a lot of fun. I don't know what I was doing, but it was a lot of fun. Let's go again.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Fromage is a complete hit.
Our number 2 game, I assume, is a crossover.
Sure.
At River of Gold.
Nope. You have not played my number 2 game.
River of Gold didn't make your top 10?
Nope.
Excuse me?
It's a great game.
Who do you think you are?
I very much love River of Gold, but 2024 was a phenomenal year of board games.
I'm going to write a mean comment in the comments of this video about your...
Again, River of Gold is probably top 15.
Anyways, my number 2 is River of Gold. River of Gold.
You'll understand when you hear my number 2.
Maybe. Maybe not. I can't believe it's on chapter. Anyways, doesn't matter. River of Gold is this amazing game.
It's very good.
It should be in Jeff's top 10 amazing. But anyways, so in River of Gold, you are essentially moving your ships down this River of Gold. There's a bunch of different actions that you can do. You can sail and collect the resources based on the space you land on. You can deliver to different merchants or customers. You can build. You can do a bunch of different things, but you are just trying to score as many points as possible, and basically everything that you do is meant to score you points. There's going to be a part of this game that comes, it's like the halfway point where the Emperor is going to be going around and looking, hey, what have you done? Good, take some money. One thing I love about this game is the resource management aspect, because you can only have 6 of each kind of resource. So you can't hoard your resource. You can only have 25 of your koku or your money. So you can't hoard money. So it almost forces you to do other things. So I have tried so many different strategies in this game. One of my favorite ways to play is to focus on the customers. Mm-hmm. So I am constantly like trying to get the resources, to shove them out to do the different customers, because all of the customers also then give you some sort of a special ability. Maybe it'll allow you to score more points on one of the tracks at the end of the game. Maybe it'll give you extra resources when you go to the other side of the river. Maybe it'll upgrade your ship, which will let you do different things. So this game, I hadn't heard anything about it, and then we ended up covering it before it came out, and we played it, and it was an instant, like, this game's amazing. And not only is it amazing, it's freaking, there's a hair on my nose. It's freaking beautiful.
Yes.
The production is awesome. It's from Office Dog Games, who have been making some really great games. They're definitely a publisher to watch, I would say.
Agreed.
But I cannot get enough of this game. We show it to everybody that comes over to our house. We played it and showed it off at BGG-Con, and it's on BGA as well. So I'm also always in a game of this, and I love it. I just think this game is so fantastic.
Yeah, I also very much love River of Gold, even though Jamie's slander is high right now. My number 2 game is a game Jamie hasn't played, and is probably going to end up in my top 15, top 10 of all time. And it's one I want to play more, but it requires me to have the right person around to play it, and hopefully our friends will move here so that I can play more of these types of games, and that is Dune War for Arrakis. Does it now make sense?
Well, yeah, but no, still. It doesn't make sense.
Dune War for Arrakis is a war game that is based on the Dune universe. Dune War for Arrakis borrows elements from one of my favorite games of all time, which is War of the Ring. I think these two games live in harmony. A lot of people are like, well, which one should I have? I think if you like both themes, you should own both of them because they play somewhat differently. War for Arrakis is a little bit more strategic in terms of like less conflict-based, I guess, unlike War of the Ring, where Sauron is very conflict-based. War for Arrakis is a phenomenal war game where one person is trying to like effectively find the sieges in order to destroy them, and the other player is trying to take control of the worms, use them to their benefit in order to delay the game long enough to complete secret objectives. And the game can end at any time. The other player that is not completing the secret objectives is kind of trying to delay that development long enough to take over the sieges. It's super fun. And again, thank you to Max for teaching me this, because I don't think otherwise I would ever have played it this year if he didn't teach it. It's so good. I love these big box war games that are based on IPs, and Dune War for Arrakis is phenomenal. I do truly think Jamie would also love Dune and War of the Ring.
I think that I would prefer War of the Ring because I know Lord of the Rings so well. I don't know anything about it.
I think you would like War of the Ring more for the theme. I think you'd like War for Arrakis more for the mechanisms and
the worm. My number 1 is in the exact place that it should be, because this game, I believe, is the perfect board game. I believe that. And that is Fromage.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Listen, Jeff already explained the game, but let me just tell you a few things I like about it. Number 1, I love cheese. Who doesn't? Cheese in France?
Lactose intolerance people.
They still love cheese. They just can't eat it. That's the difference. Okay, so I love its simultaneous play, which makes it very quick. I love that there's basically 4 mini games that you're playing. I love that the board is basically a Lazy Susan. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think a great upgrade for this game is to get a Lazy Susan. Perfect. I love that there's so many different things that you can try.
It doesn't, we should clarify, it doesn't have its own
but you spin
turn thing like Planet Unknown.
No. I love that there's like all of the resources also have their own function in the game. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not, I'm just collecting these things because it helps me. Like, no, like they're also everything in this game is gamified, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I also am so excited for the Italian version of this. Like, there's going to be Italian cheese. Forget about it. Sign me up. Say less.
Forget about it.
So, I have not played this game solo yet.
That's a bit shocking.
Which is shocking. Mm-hmm. I am so I'm always excited to show this game to people. I'm in it on BGA constantly. I'm also not great at this game, but it doesn't matter because it's always fun. I've never not had fun playing this game. And not only that, like the first time we played on BGA, didn't know the rules, had a blast.
Yep.
I didn't know what was going on.
That's what I said, like the first game, you're like, what's this?
Yeah, and that does happen every time because it's a little bit overwhelming at first because you're like, well, this section is where this happens. And I also think the worker placement aspect of this game is really unique because you place your worker out and then you turn the board. You don't get that worker back until it's facing you again.
So the stronger actions.
Exactly. So you have to like, do I really want to make this gold cheese? Because I'm not going to get my worker back for 3 turns. And I kind of like, I'm looking at what's coming up and I kind of need this blue cheese for that. And it's It's a perfect game. I would change nothing about this game.
I'm not going to push back on you on that one.
And cheese is amazing.
My number one is also a game I think is perfect.
About cheese?
It's not about cheese. Jamie has already talked about this game.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about it quickly.
My number 10, your number 1.
My number 1 is Arcs from Later Games.
Not
Arcs.
shocking.
I've played 3 games of Arcs now. I should mention this. I've only played Arcs with the group that I play Root with.
And with me.
And with Jamie.
Well, I'm not invited to Root.
But why I bring that up is because my gaming group that we play Root, and when we play Root, is why I love board games.
Mm-hmm.
We get at each other. We're picking at each other. We're
mean.
Cutthroat.
They're bullying each other.
We're mean, but that's what we enjoy doing.
Yeah, that's how they enjoy to play.
We enjoy that banter around the table, and Arcs invokes all of that feeling. It is a masterclass in figuring out, again, when to pull the trigger on all of your points and when to really go in on the rest of the group so that they're not aware that you're ready to take over the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do it too early, you're just going to fizzle out. Everyone's going to come at you and you're going to fizzle out and not win. But this game can also win instantly. Like in our 2-player game, Jamie was playing this very secretively and ended up scoring like 15 points in one round in order to win. And I think some people hate that, and I get it. But I love it. I love that you are playing so strategically and so tight to the chest that the other person doesn't even know what you're able to do.
No,
and
you're
then
just like holding it all in, like,
you
please
can just
don't do
swing
this.
for the fences and win the game.
Yeah.
I think that's phenomenal. And honestly, like, I love Leader Games. I love everything they do. Cole Worley, I think, is by far my favorite designer. Everything he touches, I think, is just perfectly suited
to your play
for
style.
my play style and what I love most in board games. I'm really excited to play the Blighted Reach expansion, which is the campaign version of Arcs.
Yeah, we have it. We haven't played it.
Probably going to save that for when we have the right group to play it. But I cannot say enough good things about Arcs. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And I love it too, which I think is also a good thing because it of course it's going to be best with more players, but the fact that you can play it enjoyably at 2, and it's a different experience at 2.
I would say it's probably best at 3 or 4, but is very good at 2.
Yeah.
Because again, we're 2 people. We are limited to... A lot of our gameplays are limited to, and I think this is a very good 2-player game. Yeah.
So those are our top 10 games of 2024 with 2024 releases. Like we said, the next video is going to be new to us games of 2024, and we played a lot of new to us games in 2024. So I'm excited because that list was way harder to make, in my opinion, because older games resonate with us pretty well. All right. But that is everything that we have for you today. Now, if you are interested in buying board games, like any of the many we mentioned today, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is...
The Boardroom Game Cafe.
Oh, heck yeah. And if you like what you see...
Please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later days.
Rorge. It's going to be echoey. Hello? Echoey. I know. I'm going to get some of the stuffed toys. Just stick them in front of us. That'll suck up some of the sound. You stay in there, Bean.
That's not good.
Well, it's going to be better than nothing.
Did you turn the whole monitor upside down?
Yes. Okay. It'll get better. Don't worry. So just a few things to note. It's echoey because we have no soundproofing in here at all.
Yet.
We have nothing behind us, so she's barren. Yet. And the lighting might be a little bit harsh. I think it looks okay.
Yeah.
Hard to say. I can't see this. Anyways, Jeff.
It looks way more professional than we're used to.
And I connected the camera to my phone. So I'll connect them, so I just have to click record through my phone.
Don't look.
I can't, Jeff, I'm not wearing my glasses. Don't look.
I'm gonna say, yeah, I mean, it's got a 2024 Best 2-Player Game nominee.
Yeah.
And it also has a 2022 Golden Geek Best 2-Player Board Game nominee.
Ping.